Hey everyone, welcome back. So in this video we're going to briefly talk about these MicroLogix 1000 series Allen Bradley PLCs. Now, I'm going to be up front with you. Most of these controllers here are kind of hitting that obsolete zone. One of the more popular things about them now is that because they're so old at this point, Rockwell is now using their software that powers and controls these as a free option for kind of as a demo software, or as a software in the case that you want to use it as kind of a private individual with just a simple controller. So that's kind of the huge plus side in the market that we're experiencing now. The only downside is, again, these are obsoleted. They're not really for sale anymore. But the huge plus side is there's thousands of them available out there, either as refurbs or as expired off the production lines. And when I say that, the company's kind of expired them out. They've stripped them out of their production lines, and so they're available. Now, most of them are going to be available, again, secondhand market, but it's nevertheless still available. There are still some out there that Allen Bradley does still support. They are still selling them. I think, in fact, it's actually at the end of 2024 that they're kind of on the final back burner to be obsoleted that year. So they are active, matured, set to be totally obsoleted. If they haven't been already. Now, they have switched over to the Micro 800 series, which, again, free software available to us on the market, but they, in my opinion, are not as robust as these. Now, that's an opinion, to each their own. So, on these particular old school Micro 1000s, there's usually two major models that are available. You have the larger brick or the smaller brick. The brick that's in half is going to be a DC only module, meaning that the power coming into it is going to be strictly DC, and the power usage is going to be DC inputs as well as generally discrete DC outputs. Whereas these larger bricks, and I'm sure there is one that you can buy that is a relay output module as well for the DC. Now, these larger bricks that are thicker, these are going to be ACs, AC power coming into it. There's going to be a power supply inside of it, so it's going to have a little 24-volt DC output, and then, of course, you're going to have your general I/O. The thing that I kind of detest about these older bricks, these original 1000 series, is the only way to communicate with them is through this particular PMO2 cable connection here. So, and we'll talk about that in another video, is the PMO2 cable. But that is the only connection that we have. It's a serial connection, but it's the only option we have. Now, in some of the newer models, they have the PMO2 cable, and then they'll have a D9 serial, or I think it's a DB9 serial cable connection port, which is kind of helpful. So you could have one of these connected to your HMI, and then the other one's available for a programming port or a network connection port, whatever you might need. DIN rail mountable, as well as a screw terminal as well. This particular model is the smaller of the two, because you can get longer ones. They'll have more I/O. This only has, I think, 10 inputs altogether, and then it looks like it has 6 outputs that are going to be relay outputs. So you have, let's see here, 4 isolated, and then 2 that are shared on the same system. So kind of bring it in so you can kind of see it a little better there. And then there's the catalog number there. So it's the 1761 L16 BWA. Kind of a backbone in the industry for a long time. These things were serious workhorses. They would replace the independent little relay modules and all of that stuff. And when I say relay modules, I would mean like timing relays, other kinds of standard relays, and then put a little controller into it. Like I said, backbone of the industry for a long, long time. And it's kind of sad to see them go, but their days are numbered. But let's be real, their moment to shine in history is still with us, actually. There's still a lot of them out there in the industry that are still holding their own. But, again, being replaced soon. So, just kind of a quick overview of the 1000 series. I'm definitely a huge fan of them. For replacement, if you really wanted my opinion, I would switch to a CompactLogix or ControlLogix chassis. That's just my personal preference. Huge fan of the ControlLogix upgrades. But I know that in these instances where these little guys like this were used, the Micro 800s are the way to go. So definitely not a fan of those. We'll go through a lot of that in this channel, and we'll talk about that. But they certainly are not my favorite these were definitely a favorite over even some of the ControlLogix. But as a programmer, the ControlLogix are the way to go. So anyway, thank you all for watching. That kind of concludes everything I had to talk about on the 1000. So thanks again.